What's up guys, my name is Kubits and welcome to another mod spotlight, this time for Dawn of Skyrim Director's Cut. If you're familiar with mods in the past, then you've probably heard of Dawn of Skyrim. It's a huge overhaul mod, probably one of the most popular ones out there, and it was released about 2 years ago. But now the mod author has come out with this new-ish version, which is basically their vision for what they really wanted the towns to look like. Now the reason why this is separated and not just an update is because it's actually a pretty big performance hit on your computer. My computer isn't super great, but it's not necessarily complete garbage either. And even while I wasn't recording, I was getting frame drops. So if you've got a mid to high-end PC, you're probably going to be okay. But if the graphics card in your computer hasn't been updated in a little while, then you might come into some trouble in certain areas of the cities. All of that considered, I'm a huge fan of this mod. I think it's really fantastic. This mod overhauls all of the cities that you can enter into through a loading screen. So not places like Falkreath, not places like Morthal, only places like Whiterun and Solitude and Windhelm, those sorts of cities. Now into what I really enjoy about this mod. I think that all the decorations really fit in, and they don't just fit in their modeling and their texturing, but also thematically. So for just an example, when you look at the Grey Quarter in Windhelm, you can really see the Dunmer influence down the street. This mod adds a lot of personality that wasn't really in the vanilla game, and it's sort of understandable because you can't have too many assets. Obviously, this mod takes down your performance quite a lot. Despite that fact, these additions are completely fantastic in my opinion. It does not look like the mod author is just adding things to add them. There's no clutter for no reason. Everything feels extremely appropriate to the lore. As just another example, when you enter the city of Riften, you can see a bunch of skeevers crawling around all over the place. And of course, you see a bunch of fishing items there, as fishing is a huge part of Riften's economy. As another example, when you look at Solitude's vendors, you can see that there's a very traditionally medieval kind of influence. And when you compare that kind of Ren Fair feel to the more rustic sort of feel of the vendors in Windhelm, it really drives home the differences between the cultures in those two cities. Out of all the cities that are overhauled, probably my favorite would have to be Whiterun. There's just so much added, and what I love most about what's added is that it really takes into consideration that Whiterun is a big deal in Skyrim. Whiterun is supposed to be the big trade town. It's supposed to be where all the vendors are, where everybody goes to trade their goods from all over the province and all over the realm itself. This mod adds a whole bunch more vendors all around. Different food vendors, dark elves selling Dunmer goods, even shops for mead. It does really make you feel like this city is known for its trade. Obviously, one of the cool things that this adds is a lot more banners. So there will be a lot more banners to indicate not only what territory it is, not only the sigils of the cities, but also to indicate the shops and what's sold there. Now, keep in mind while you're watching this that I'm using a mod called Designs of the Nords, which basically makes all the banners look a lot more cool, a lot more detailed, and a lot more full of personality. The mod author suggests that you use this mod, and I definitely agree. One of the cool things about this mod is that it changes some of the interiors as well as the exteriors. So for instance, there's a whole new building in Whiterun. It's called the Trapporker. And basically a mage lives there and it's all about selling stuff for enchantment and wizardry. I think it's really cool because it really does add that extra part of the city that makes it feel kind of complete in its trade. It's also just a really adorable house. There is so much detail in this mod that I couldn't possibly cover all of it, but hopefully by seeing these images you kind of get a feel for what it really adds. Cities like Whiterun are obviously changed quite a bit, but there are cities like Markarth where the changes are a little bit more subtle. Overall, nothing feels over the top. Overall, nothing feels out of place at all. And especially if you're playing the game over and over and over again, sometimes it's just nice to have something different to look at. I definitely recommend this mod if your PC can handle running it. Keep in mind, this ESP is an all-in-one, so you can't really install it modularly, but the good news is it only affects those cities that you have to go through a loading screen to get to. I encourage you to download this mod if you think your PC can handle it, and just do some exploring and take it all in. And of course, if you do that and you enjoy the mod, please remember to give it an endorsement. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like, and if you want to see more, then please do subscribe. I have plenty of Skyrim mod videos, and more are always coming. For instance, here is Tentapalooza, a Skyrim camping mod that adds a bunch of decorations for the mod Campfire. And there's also the relationship dialogue overhaul, which makes NPCs react much more dynamically towards you. And lastly, we have Windpath, a very cozy, very adorable house mod that is personally one of my favorites. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.